Just going to start off by talking about what I did on the pound yen in the second half of last week. This was the 4-hour chart, because when I started buying this, I just felt that a lot of people didn't quite understand what I was seeing in this chart. What I was seeing in this chart was this level here holding. Yeah, we came right the way down close to the 170, which is always a lovely opportunity to get in on a very bullish chart. Like the way we were holding 170.40 in smaller time frames. Started buying these lows on Thursday, and then took that up for a couple hundred points on the Friday, and then took it off of that resistance or close to that resistance. Okay, the same can be said of the pound US dollar. In fact, if you look at what I did on Friday, I did produce a slide showing what I did. Let me just go and find that. This is what I traded in the room. I saw this 163 on the pound US dollar hold. Bought in at 163.20. Had my stop underneath here. Before the data came out, we were up here. So I held it because I had a buffer. I would not have held that if I didn't have a buffer before the data came out. So we had a little hammer just as the data came out. As soon as we broke that hammer, we just shot straight up. And I was taking off as we were hitting these levels up here. And then we actually finished the day close to 164, I think. Alright, so what can we expect next week? Let's look through the indices first. And I talked about this 16,400 on Thursday. We did hold it, but we cannot now close above that trend line. So the jury is still out on where this chart wants to go, but the bottom line, sorry about this, bottom line is, this is still a very bullish market. Every time we do any significant drops, we get bought. So we pull back to the support and then we close up, but we effectively spent the week in a 100-point range. So tight but holding. I mean, if we can close above this level here, I think we're going to close the gap pretty quick. It's Martin Luther King Day tomorrow, so the US is not around tomorrow. So tread very carefully. If we look across the markets, we've got the Japanese market holding the 50 EMA but under the trend line, just like the Dow. We've got the DAX that is weaker. So the German DAX is showing some weakness here. So if we start breaking under 96, 92, that could start coming down, testing support levels. If we don't hold those, then things could get a little, quite weak. FTSE, we're above the 80 EMA up here, closed higher on the weekly, but we are very extended but bullish. I think if we get a pullback, to 68, 80 area, I think that will get bought, and then we'll see another move to the upside. But so we are okay, but not great. We do need to see some significant closes when the US comes back to see if we can push up. Quick look at the so the S&P 500s were weaker, and the Nasdaq was held up but hesitant. So mixed signals. I will keep a very, very close eye on the Nikkei. I think the Nikkei is one of the most important charts out there. The other sort of indicator is the strength of the dollar, and that is gaining, because this is the Euro US dollar showing weakness here. I was shorting it the early part of the week and it wouldn't do anything. Of course, on Friday I was making profits on the pound, so that is now under the 50 EMA. Every time you get a chart between the 50 EMA and the 200, you get a lot of chop, and that's what we got in the euro. However, I would short the 135.90 area to see if we can drop to at least 134.56. Pound. Great data on Friday. We are above the 50 EMA. Look at the squeeze. That's a very bullish squeeze on there on Friday. So, and all that's fib support down there at 163 held. So that's a pullback, if you can see 163.85 area, to see if we can get back up to this resistance of 165 and possibly beyond. Same can be said of this is like the Dow, trapped under that fib level. So I would, it's still bullish, so I would still hold out for a pullback to 171.50 to see if that can push up. Pound Aussie dollar had a massive move, so any pullbacks, it's getting extended. I'd love to buy a much deeper pullback in that. Not sure we'll see it, but if you do want to get involved in that one, then 185.80 might be the one. Aussie underneath support and look as if that could continue to the downside. I'm keeping an eye on this CAD yen. If you look at the 4 hour, you can see what I did last week to grab some points out of this. That pushed into the 96 area. I got out just as we started to roll over, 20 points under my target. So you can see why I was hesitant up there. I'm keeping an eye on this CAD because if we were weak on Thursday, Friday, but if we start to return to 95.20, 95.50, I would start to consider going long again. US dollar yen. Looks as if that could potentially roll over. It's quite a weak close on Friday. Weekly has got a hammer-like bar on the I don't know, Weekly's got a hammer-like bar on the 8. Sorry for that hesitation. Okay, so I'm still bullish. I'm still buying pullbacks in a lot of these charts, but just cautious of the fact the DAX is weak, the Euro US. So obviously, it's Europe that's weak. So I will keep a very, very close eye on the Nikkei to see if that can hold up. Because if that starts to give up, then this market could be in for some sort of pullback, and we are very extended. Alright, I do have that helps. Before we go, let's just take a quick look at the data this coming week. And Chinese GDP. Ooh, now that could be a weak start to the week, but Chinese GDP estimated to be dropping from 7.8 to 7.6. So watch out for that. And nothing much else on Monday apart from some German inflation. Tuesday we are also very quiet apart from German economic sentiment. Wednesday got UK jobs and no US data. Thursday a lot of European data. Again, where's the US data gone? Thursday we've got weekly jobs and home sales 3 o'clock. Very quiet week. Be careful, it's very quiet week. That probably is shown in the hesitancy of the charts the back end of last week. US off on Monday and a quiet week on the data front. Alright, so obviously I'll update you during the week. Monday, Trader Round Table, we are going to be talking about key elements of successful trading. I wanted to particularly about position sizing and how to handle position sizing. So please join me for that, and look forward to seeing you then.